Okay, so
I should have
elephant in
got
the
my
room.
tea. Should have got my tea for this one.
Right. The Colts suffered a huge, historic, monumental, gigantic loss to the Jaguars, who at the same time not only win, but also won the rights of the first overall pick, which is just insanity. So the Colts missed the playoffs by doing this. Let the Raiders and Chargers narrative happen. And Aaron, I told you before this show started today, I was not even upset because I was more so speechless. I'm at a loss of words. I'm hurt. I'm not a person who takes his sports teams too seriously. I love the entertainment of it all, but I don't really root for my teams like people do. Like, I don't throw stuff at the TV if something happens. But the only explanation I can come up with, and I've kind of tweeted it out a few times last night, was we sold our souls to Satan and the devil. I I cannot explain how Frank Reich and Carson Wentz and Jonathan Taylor and Darius Leonard not just lose to the Jaguars, they got punched in the mouth so bad on the first drive. Frank Reich went for it on fourth down in his own territory the very next drive, on their Colts' first drive of the game. It's like they didn't even show up. Like, it'd be one thing if the Colts had, kind of stuck around, but at no point in this game, as soon as it kicked off, did I feel that the Colts were going to win at any point in this game. And I blame Frank Reich? Yes. Well, do I want Frank Reich fired? No, because that's just stupid. Frank Reich has been amazing with his team, and and really with all the injuries and stuff we've had, we may not have even been in this position. I mean, we won a lot of games we really shouldn't have. Carson Wentz had 2 turnovers, and I've kind of teased all year that I wish Sam Ellinger would start. Wow. Carson Wentz is just a mistake-prone individual. He wants to be the hero, and he's just not. I get to the point where I ask myself, would Urban Meyer have won this game? And I believe, yes, he would have. And Urban Meyer coach Jaguars team wins this game because we didn't show up. We just did not show up. It was just such a turn of events. I genuinely am asking myself, did some of our did half our team join the Illuminati pregame? Like, what happened? Again, as a Colts fan, I know some of us are passionate, but we're not really a passionate, angry fan base. I'm speechless. And it's unacceptable. Shout out Jacksonville, who I never really hated because they're kind of hard to hate when they suck so bad. And they still suck. They were just worse on Sunday.
Yeah, that's a tough spot. Here's a question. Would you feel less bad if, like, the 49ers would have blown a lead? Now, I know they played the Rams, but, like, would you have felt bad if, like, you don't feel bad, like, I know you feel, like, how do I pose this? Would you feel less bad if your team wasn't the only one that got, like, embarrassed on Sunday?
Yeah. And here's the other thing, Chili, before you go on. It's just like, for the last 2 weeks, we knew we were making the playoffs. There was no doubt in our minds that this team was going to make the playoffs. And even if we got bounced in the first round, we were making this thing. And now Raiders and Steelers, maybe Steelers would have made it regardless, but now the Raiders made it. And you look back at their season compared to our season, I would hope we were better.
Well, you might theoretically say you're better, but on the field, I mean, it didn't show. Obviously, it lost 2 in a row to the Raiders and the Jaguars, so it's kind of a tough spot there, and that's. But, at the same time, you have to look back with a sense of optimism of, at one point, weren't you guys like 1-5 or 1-6? So it's a catch-22. I mean, once you're there, you're like, well, I'm not thinking about the fact of all the journey it took to get there. We're here now. Like, it's the here and now. But, yeah, that's an interesting spot. You got to really – I mean, you traded a first-round pick for Carson Wentz. you really have to assess, like, okay, do I keep this guy just because of the capital that we gave up for him, or do we really feel like we need to move on either from him, so with someone in our organization or someone in the draft, or God forbid, do we have to start packaging the future for Russell Wilson? Or I don't think Aaron Rodgers will go there, but let's just not throw him out just yet. I mean, do you have to really take a long, hard look at what to figure out? Because you're right. I mean, the turnovers really put you guys in a bad spot a lot of this year. I mean, your close games against the Rams, close games against some other teams that a turnover list here, turnover list there.
Titans.
Yeah, Titans was another one. Yeah, you're right. The second, I think it was the second game that they were close.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you have to really take a long, hard look at Carson Wentz. Just because you get a first round pick doesn't mean you can scrap it. I mean, you got to do what you got to do. If you feel your team's in a win now mode with a potential MVP at running back, and Carson Wentz isn't the guy, although I don't think anybody else on that roster is, maybe you look at the future. Maybe you look at the future is now with Russell Wilson or something like that. So it's gonna be an interesting offseason for the Colts.
I wouldn't be surprised, actually, if the Colts made a splash signing and just dumped Carson Wentz. I wouldn't be surprised if we ran it back with Carson Wentz. But we've been a quarterback away since Andrew Luck left, even since Peyton Manning left. We've been a quarterback away, and Andrew Luck was that bright spot, and it's been rough. It's been rough for sure.
That's fair, man. I feel your pain. I don't want to. I mean, I'm probably going to dunk on you a few more times this show, but I don't want to pile on. But yeah, it's a tough spot. But like you said, there's two ways to look at it. To be there at the end of the season, after the start of the season, hey, you got a shot. But at the same time, like a lot of, you don't look like that. You can't look at it that way. Like, hey, whatever happened to get us here, awesome. The schedule is hard to navigate, but we were here, and this is a huge punch in the gut. Absolutely.
It's hard to punch me in the gut. They did that pretty good.